What's up guys, my name is Silver and today I'm going to show you an in-depth guide on all of the contracts in Warzone. Now I know a lot of you probably already know about all of the contracts in Warzone, but there are a lot of hidden features to these contracts that most of you probably don't know about. I'm also going to go over the Orbital VSAT and the counter UAV at the end of the video. The counter UAV was released in a recent patch, but they didn't provide any patch notes for it or instructions, so I'm going to run through real quick with you guys on how to use it so that next time you go into Warzone, you at least understand it. So if you wind up learning something here or find this helpful, drop a like, and in the comments, let me know which contract you think is most useful. I dropped into a round of plunder to make this video, so if you notice the contracts pay much more than a normal round of Warzone, that's why. Getting right into it, the first contract I'll talk about is the Scavenger. This contract gets each live person on your team money and an armor satchel out of the last crate. This contract works by leading you to 3 special supply boxes. Each of these boxes will show up on your map with a yellow icon. It'll show you 1 box at a time, and after opening all 3 of them, your entire team gets paid. If you're playing with 3 or more people, completing this contract will get your team enough money to instantly buy a loadout, even if you're starting at $0. I usually try and make this my first focus when finding a place to drop. If you happen to find an uncontested area, you can have your teammates stay in the air and drop in the crates one at a time, allowing for you to get paid and buy your loadout within 30 seconds of landing. There are a couple of hidden tricks to the Scavenger. The first one being, if you get enough money to buy a squad mate back before opening the last crate, doing so will result in them getting paid even if they're still gliding in the air. This is particularly useful when you're a solo trying to buy back your whole team. If you can buy 1 back before completing the contract, then you'll get twice as much money with 1 more teammate than doing it by yourself. Another hidden feature is that the time extends every time you open 1 crate. So if you haven't even opened the first crate and there's only 10 seconds left on the contract, as long as you can get that one open, it gives you an extra 5 minutes to get to the next one. There's also 6 contract bonus tiers. Everyone starts at tier 1 and goes up each time you complete a contract. As you go up in tiers, the contracts pay you and your team more each time you complete one. As your tier goes up, the contracts also have a higher probability of giving you legendary items once you complete them. The second contract I'll go over is Recon. The Recon contract allows you to see where the next zone is going to be on the map before anyone else sees it. This can be useful for mapping out your rotation so that you don't get stuck running across an open field trying to escape the gas. There's a very easy way to use zone movement to know where other players will be while rotating. I'm going to be covering this and everything you need to know about rotations in my next video. So whether you're looking for players in order to get more kills or trying to avoid everyone and just go for a win, make sure you're subscribed so that you get the alert when this video comes out. Once you start the Recon contract, a spot on your map will highlight in yellow. Go to this spot and you'll find a Recon box. You must sit at this box for a set amount of time while you secure the Recon. A couple hidden tricks to this contract are, the time you have to sit is based on how many people are supposed to be on your team. So if you're in duos, trios, or quads, try to get your whole team on the Recon at once, otherwise it'll take much longer to complete. Another trick is, the entire time you're securing the Recon, there's a yellow flare that stays above your team and is very visible to other players. Another trick most people don't know about is once you start a Recon contract, the box is visible on the ground to other players. Also, if there's a team in close proximity to where that box appears, they'll get an alert on their screen saying Recon device activated nearby. So with this, as you're approaching your Recon, make sure there's not another team already camping there waiting for you to come. The third contract I'll be covering is Bounty. Once you pick up a Bounty contract, a random player's location will be shown on the map. Your goal is to hunt this player down and eliminate them within 3 minutes. On the other hand, if you wind up as the other team's bounty, staying alive for 3 minutes gets you and your team paid. There are a lot of tricks to the bounty, so the first one is, if there's 2 teams within 250 meters of you when you pick the contract up, which is also the distance a UAV covers, then it will choose the farther of the 2. This means, if you're in a gunfight with a team, picking up a bounty contract doesn't mean that it'll give you the team that you're already fighting, just because they're the closest. Bounties also ignore if you have Ghost on, which can be helpful for finding teams that don't show up on UAV. The fourth contract I'll be covering is Supply Run. This is the newest contract that's been added, and while it can be useful for getting a teammate back for free, they are higher risk for sometimes not a lot of reward. Once you start a contract, a buy station will highlight on your map in yellow. Typically the buy station will be around 500 meters away unless you're in a smaller circle. You'll have 2 minutes to make it to the buy station, and once you do, reviving a teammate or buying a self-revive is free, and everything else is 80% off with the exception of the loadout marker. A couple of tricks that I've found for this are, if you're trying to buy your entire team back, wait until you have enough money to buy at least one person back before starting the contract. If you do it this way, then your teammate can glide to the box while you drive, and you can each buy back one player for free, effectively costing $4,500 for 3 people to return to the game. Another trick is, as long as one of your teammates makes it to the buy station within the 2 minutes, it completes the contract and allows the rest of your team to catch up and get their one discounted item, which can be useful if some teammates are lagging behind. The 5th contract on the list is Most Wanted. This contract is usually used when there is one player left on a squad and they're desperate to buy their entire team back. When you pick this contract up, you'll be visible on every player's map in the lobby for 3 minutes. Upon completing this contract, any player on your team that has already died will instantly return to the game. The most effective way that I have found to complete this contract when you're solo and fresh out of the gulag to pick the contract up and make your way to a helicopter. If you can manage to do this, then you can typically fly around the edge of the circle until the timer runs out. Most players that I see with the Most Wanted contract just try and hide far away from where they think other players will be. However, this typically doesn't work because an enemy team will usually push to you before the contract runs out to kill you and collect a reward. There's a few hidden features to this contract that I've found to be useful. The first one is, if you're a team pushing to kill the Most Wanted player, you can actually mark the red crown on your map. This mark will show you exactly where the player is with a 2-second delay. This is super useful in areas like downtown so that you can tell if a player is ground level or on top of a building. Another trick is, while waiting for your timer to run out, if you're able to find enough money to buy one teammate back, most of the time the contract pays each live player on your team more than $4,500 upon completion. This usually makes it worth spending all of your money that you have in order to buy one player back before getting them for free so that you have extra support and all of the extra money once the contract ends. The last thing I wanted to go over is orbital VSATs and counter UAVs. To trigger an orbital VSAT, you need to purchase 3 UAVs and use all 3 at once. To use a counter UAV, you just need to pop a 4th UAV once you have the VSAT going. A VSAT shows the location of every player on the entire map, even if they're running Ghost. The counter UAV on top of this blocks out every other player's map and doesn't allow them to use a UAV. And that pretty much wraps everything up. So if you learned anything, hit the like button, and if you have any questions, ask in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.